we are now coming into a very interesting field, interesting conversation. I will say, not the field. One of the things that we've all been talking about is energy medicine, and amongst us today we have a PhD in energy medicine. Right? So someone who really has authority and has the deep knowledge about what energy medicine is all about. It's a pleasure to introduce Rita Mahajan, Dr. Rita Mahajan here with us. Apart from my introduction on the slide that all of you can read for yourself, I can only say that she's very, very dynamic, straightforward, and she explored new subjects with a lot of passion. She has been a speaker at different forums in the world, and she's a transformational trainer, great motivator, and pioneer in many new subjects. She's authored books, as you can see. She has authored books on Aura and Chakra. She's authored books on Kumbh Mela, and currently she is working on something. The longest word I've come across, Rita, by the way, I'll attempt to pronounce it properly. It says photon biomodulation and diabetic reversal. So you have to really help us understand. I understand diabetic reversal, what it's all about, but what this new thing is all about. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Rita here with us.
Yes, a great evening, Tony ji. Thank you very much. A new diverse field of subject matter. All of it is dealing with our human body. I must tell you, this has really been very exciting evening. One is that Ajay Podar touching upon my favorite subject. As I told you, it really concerns all of us, and we couldn't do anything, and thanks to the people that were doing so much of research in our country, I'm always proud of that. Otherwise, we're looking out for research elsewhere, okay? And coming to my own subject, and thanks to Harika touched upon something like he was struggling with the word photobiomodulation. And then we are going to be touching upon what is photon biomodulation, and she just simply touched upon the mitochondria and the ATP. Actually, it is our energy bank in our cellular level. If you don't have a mitochondria functioning, then you don't have the cash to function for yourself, okay? So we'll come into that detail. Now we will go and do my PPT. But more than that, I would like to ask you a simple question. Most of you are here. Most of you are professionals, healers of different various subjects. How many of you have any kind of a physical condition? Any kind. It could be a diabetic, it could be not having a good sleep, or it could be a digestive problem, or a constipation, or a hair loss, as simple as that. How many of you can say diabetic? Yep, good. Right. I mean, we got to be proud to say that I'm diabetic because it's every household's conversation now. And anybody with a digestive problem? No, but that's great. And anybody you know in your families with a dead word called the C word, called the cancer, all of us come across, right? So here is a subject matter. We are going to deal with it very, very differently because all of you can heal yourself. All of us have that ability. A little bit, our Harika has touched upon, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Now, when do you go to a doctor? When do you go to a doctor?
When you're not well.
When the symptoms manifest outside.
When you know that something, in a simpler words, because I really oversimplified things. What I'm interested is not the technology by itself, but I'm interested in that you're carrying and being triggered with an inspiration to go do something. Because in 30 minutes that we have already overshot, I'll have 30 minutes only, not 45 minutes. So we're going to be triggering the thought process for you to look at a subject matter which is available, but not so commonly available. So keep your eyes open and then look at ourselves as we are more than anything. So coming to the subject, like she said, when we have a certain kind of a symptoms which is not normally being that way, then we wake up. That too when it is loud and clear. When there's a soft whispering symptoms coming up, we ignore it. Not today, kal kar lenge. when it is loudly saying that the body is saying, then we wake up, then we go to a doctor. Only then we go to a doctor. Then we go to a doctor and we tell our own symptoms. Sir, this is happening to me. I don't understand this. This is happening to me. And the doctors are super specialists in our physical realm. They will take all these symptoms, ask you to do certain tests, then come up to an understanding. This is not there, this is not there, this is not there, what I suspected, and this could be the reason. And they may give you a good advice, go home and rest. Or they'll give you, take this medicine, which is biochemistry, and then tell you, you'll be fine. If there's a surgical procedure needed, they will guide you accordingly, right? And why is he doing that? Because he or she in the allopathy or medical field is fundamentally is specialist in your physical realm and your biochemistry and your biology, okay? Whereas the quantum energy medicine is not dealing with the physicality of your, though physical of course, but we are going much deeper into it. What am I saying by saying this? When I'm saying deeper into it, we are looking at a spiritual understanding of one aspect of what is said in our ancient scripts. That all that you see in the form are literally not solid. It's fundamentally pure energy. They didn't say pure energy. They described it like an illusion or a single word called Maya. Right? Now, we don't experience Maya in our day-to-day life. We may have a Maya as a GF girlfriend, but not a Maya, because our body we experience as solid. So we, from the quantum energy perspective, which I will soon explain, this Maya and bring in the quantum science to make you understand truly we are Maya. We are energy, pure energy. But now in the quantum energy field that we, from the world of quantum energy medicine, that's my company, we are trying to bring in a spiritual understanding which is fundamentally given to us, but redefine it, bringing in an applicable level of scientific solutions for what? For a healthy living. After all, we have come into this planet Earth now, and in this beautiful form. Why not? Why do we have to sick ourselves? Why do we have to, put ourselves at risk? And why do we have to live the way we are living? We got to be living healthy because our body has got the ability to heal itself. So taking that crew, we had been looking at what does the quantum physics say? Even every thought, the thoughts are what put together and hold together this ever-changing field into the objects that we see. Now mind, that's a very loaded statement. But we are thinking and we're thinking. Our thoughts doesn't matter to us most of the time, but it matters. It has the energy. In fact, that brings forth an object. And there's a lot of scientific evidences to it. And our thoughts are linked to this invisible energy that determine what the energy forms. Because if you're looking at, even in this room, most of us are here, more than 30-40 people. But what is the maximum is the energy here. So every thought of yours now happening, sitting there, is creating something or the other, at least a wave. If you have a camera, we can show you. Okay? And now I wanted to describe something to distinguish Maya. Now look at our own body. How did we become we? Okay, tell us. That's good. So tell us is a good one. We become we, the way I am or we are, is a gift given by our parents. One cell from mom, one cell from dad, put together, we merge and form into that one single cell, right? That one single cell can we say has the information, intelligence to make you you. Then it divides itself and it divides itself and it further divides itself, creating tissues and organs, and then you in 9 months' time. Anything earlier we call premature. In that 9 months in the womb of a mother, we are created. Then we are delivered And with the default program, how would you grow up? Isn't that? So can we say that we are trillions and trillions of cellular structure, differently functioning? The brain cell constitute is very different than your liver cell or the bone cell or the blood, but it's a matter, right? So we function in a most coordinated cooperative functioning. Your brain cell does not compete with your kidney, or your eyes does not compete with your ears, or your right hand doesn't compete with your left. We are completely working in coordination because every cell is an interconnected information channel, right? Now suppose we really wanted to go a little deeper and check that out, we can look at a cell, any cell, and examine it under a microscope. We would only see them, apart from, of course, the physics, the membrane, the nucleus. We'll also see that it is made up of certain kind of molecules, which is millions of it. Fundamentally speaking, we are 70% water molecules, right? We don't spill, but we are. And then if you want to study further down, because still molecular level, most of our field of medicine are done fantastically well, I must say. Because those are the medicines that you take are certain molecules. You just pop in a pill and you're done. It's already, gives you the result. But let's go a little deeper and see, what are these molecules made up of? Atoms. Now this is also made up of atom. The air we are breathing is made up of atom. Our cells are atom. I am an atom, right? Then atom, all of us have studied electron, protons, and the neutrons. And the rest we said energy or space, and we left it at that. Recently, 70 years plus, I can say, there's a lot of thought process happening. Are we only atomic structure? Is the electrons function by itself to make you, the wood, or the tree, the water? Or what is this 99.99% space does? Because fundamentally, apart from the electron, proton, neutron, and now further experimenting and understanding quasar, pulsars, and things like that, but 99.99% is what we are made up of. Now look at your own body. Are you really solid? Are you? So, what our ancestors said in our scripts is right. But they did not give us a worksheet for us to refer. How did they arrive at that Maya? But fundamentally we are Mayas. Incidentally, with this electron, proton, and the neutron, which we assume as a particle, again a rethinking on that, it's in a waveform, and that we are incidentally happen to be a body, the physicality. Now we are trying to fix the physicality and the biochemistry with an understanding of our physics and the biochemistry with the 0.0001% the matter. And you go further down below and profundity, that's actually there's only energy. That's how profound this statement is. So coming from the energy medicine itself, and the way I describe it is the quantum understanding of you as a Maya is an energy, that you yourself is 99.999% energy, that itself is medicine. There's nothing beyond it. We speak in different languages. We say you have the power to heal yourself. Show me how. We don't know. But if you know you are the energy yourself, what would you do the best? Assure yourself, hello, I can fix myself. We have many methods, definitely a lot of the methods that we can think of. But now what is the question for us is that as the days are going up, I'm only intrigued with a statement I've read in PricewaterhouseCoopers statistics, that every year it is tripling the health industry's potential. It's good. Wellness industry is doing good. When I read it in 2014, the report of 2010, it says 468 billion is a wellness industry. And they predicted in 2015 it will be 968 or so. I waited for 2015. Let's see now. And 2015, it's an alarming 1500 billion. Now what? Where are we? Now you can take it two ways. You're a businesswoman, so you can say, wow, there's huge potential. Let's get to do some more in wellness. If you're a spiritually inclined person, you will look at, what am I doing to our country? What am I doing to this globe? The only home we have, right? And we live here. So that's the wake-up call when I came into this. Now, if every one of us or every doctor, every healer could see and heal from this 99.999% space, how much of work can be done? Instead, the humanity, which is superly organized, an organism, so-called the divinity in manifestation, walking this planet Earth, if we fall ill, what would we be sending to the earth, the home? One human being falling ill, how much of compromises, how much you are compromising in your economy, your peace of mind, your lifestyle. Can you imagine? And 8 billion of us on planet Earth falling ill. Most of us, in some way or the other. So then we began to think, this is a way we got to be doing something about it. Create awareness, more and more awareness, more and more conferences, more and more talk, more and more inviting people, the corporate world, to come and experience rejuvenation at a center at a peanuts price. Okay, so that they are aware. And also training the medical professional, Ayurvedic, any alternate professional in supporting them to see this space. If they could see this space and work through that, matter is easy, right? Common sense. And this is said by Thomas Edison, and I love it because then he said, the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause as well as the prevention of disease. We have arrived in doing the leaky gut fixing or the dietary and things like that. And we have a bigger vision. As I said, that was a wake-up call to me. Then I really aligned with few people, and I've got a partner who's from the Pyramid Valley, a founder trustee member. We together started this. So I'm looking at as a superhuman being, because super organism that we are on the planet Earth, can we create, even for a thought, a seed, that we can create this planet can be healthier. Now, I really loved Ajay's subject because he brought in how quietly we are damaging. We are looking at the plastic, we are looking at tiger bachao or this bachao. I'm saying human being bachao. Let's bachao ourselves. So can we create an earth, our home, which could be healthy or disease-free? As simple as that. We don't have to go and knock at everybody's door. We can take care of ourselves first. If you're healthier, your family is healthier, the community, society, country, and the globe. Very simple. That's our mission, and that's our vision, I said. And quantum energy medicine is a very, very simple method. It's doable, learnable, non-invasive, and anybody could. You don't need an X qualification to learn this subject. You just need a heart and an intention to learn. And everybody approach the subject matter of the physical ailment from the physicality, the emotion, or the mental. But my interest is fundamentally we are spiritual, or fundamentally we are spirit, or fundamentally we are energy. Right? So approach from there and you have done it all. The rest is taken care of. So all aspect of it. And quantum technology is a new paradigm. There are n number of people in the world. We can count them, of course. They're doing a great work. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we can always use those technologies. One of it is Beamer. I really loved it. There's so many, like the Kangen water. I really use them. I'm somebody I call crazy for this technique. I'm like a technocrat. Look for these and I keep acquiring them. Why? I can support people and I can support them in technology or instrumentation or simple methods, okay? So in quantum technology, I use a lot. I use one touch health checkup in 1 minute without even drawing the blood. We can give your entire conditioning of your body. We do a detox, a simple methods of a food detox to foreign infrared chamber to hydrotherapy. We use photobiomodulation, which we call low-level laser therapy. We have light therapies, which rejuvenates the mitochondria. We have got 3-4 of them, which we have got a light, which can also dilute the clot, the brain clots, okay? Certain sessions we got to take. We have got n number of it. We have got a nose clip which works through your, concentrated capillaries, the membrane inside your brain, and sends a signal from the frontal lobe. It's called the Y-line. So now what we are going to be talking about is, if I could classify, and thanks to Tony G, with all my conversation, I'm somebody who go extempo, but he helped me out to do this. But it's not all inclusive, but it's just pointers. If we can talk about the matter, and the matter can be dealt with the cellular level or the molecules or the atomic level, but the vibrational therapy medicine is something that we got to be looking at. In that, the aromatherapy comes into it, and the homeopathy, and the herbs, and the trace elements, and also, many more, recently invented subject matter. The frequency therapy is very interesting because imagine for a moment you are 99.99% space and you are just sitting here. And if I send in a sound, most of us listen to the sound external to us, the music or whatsoever. If you allow the sound to permeate in that meditation, when you permeate the sound through this energy, what will happen? Have you ever thought?
Everything will vibrate.
Exactly. And over a period of time, you can shape shift. And you can align, you can harmonize. That powerful is the sound. In our culture, we have been given, because our culture is really beautiful, it's given us all. But since it's given it all, we take it for granted. The sound therapy, with the bhajans that we do collectively, the coherence is created in the space, what we call the morphic field or the field. And the prayers that we do, the japas that we do, the way we sing those classical music, the Carnatic or Hindustani or a Sufi music, all comes under that. As simple as the gong or the Tibetan bowls you can play, or the tuning fork you can play. You can play, but the music is something and a frequency. Mantras, color therapy is something, because every color holds a frequency of energy. And then the meditation. Meditation, actually, I can say it has come from here, but what do we do? How many of you are meditators here? Most of you. Good. I feel the meditation is something has to be on a priority. Why? That one thing that's your time. What is your time about is your breath time. The meditation begins with the breath, right? When does the doctor declares you dead is when you don't have a breath. Even if you've got any other organs removed, but the breath is going on, he still declares you vital. So the breath is the most important thing in our life. And that's exactly what we don't do it consciously. So if we could do consciously a breathing exercise and meditate morning, at least 15 minutes. Begin with 5 minutes. And that will do a lot of good, because that's also under frequency medicine. And there's the information medicine. That's very interesting, right? We are in the age of information technology. Everything is about information. The way Ajay spoke about the chip, and what does the chip do? It doesn't have electric connection. That was a question. Does it need an electric connection? Because the combination of those metals, the way it is laid, itself is a conductor. So it's an information that somebody knows they put together, which nullifies, transmutes, which he never said that. It transmutes, it does not send it back. When the radiation hits you and it sends it back, it's more dangerous. Which our buildings, the glass-cladded buildings do that. The sun rays fall and it reflects back, and then there's a lot of harm happening. But in an information like this chip, as simple as this, it transmutes the energy. That's much more than that, transmutes the energy. So that is there, and also our very thought is an information. DNA of our everyone in every cell consists of information. How to deal with that is something that I always do, because I do reprogram the DNA and bring in the matter shift. Matter to move and heal or grow. And hypnotherapy is something, again they use the information and retrieve information, and then there's a trauma release, again an information sabotagical program kept in your cell. But there's much more, I've just limited to few. But then I'm going to be talking to you about one particular subject of one technology. I'm not talking about many quantum technology because the time is too short. One simple technology which on request of Tony Ji, because he's experience that, want to share with you. But this Nikola Tesla is something that I really admire and I follow him, and I seems to be understanding a little bit of this guy. So he says then, my brain is only a receiver in the universe. There is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, inspiration. I am not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists. Now, in my language, I would put it this way. In the physical realm of our brain is a matter again, but we may think it's in our skull and it is segregated or separated, but actually that is the place from the pineal gland that you're connected all the time to the universe or the field or the morphic field, or in the technology I'm going to be talking about is an intrinsic field, or the way Ajay put it like grid. That which is the largest part of our universe. You look up the sky at night. What do you see the maximum there? Is it the stars, the planets, or the dark matter? In this room, maximum is the space. So that space has information. So we call, that has got data, that has got everything. We can retrieve if you want. And the brain, you say about the brain as a receiver, we naturally get it, but I'm going to talk to you about an instrument which can do it all. This is called subtle energy, 5th generation machine, loosely also called as radionics. Okay, this is as old as 120 years old. Started off with Albert Abraham. Those days he was considered a lunatic. He was really like a fraudster, because he was talking about a subject much earlier than the humanity could take it. Okay, but this is a machine that I use. I acquired this when I heard this. Don Paris was invented this, redefined Nikola Tesla's technology, brought in the simplest gadget. I liked it and I bought it, and we have done a lot of work in that. That's the only thing that I'm going to share with you out of all the other quantum technology that we have. Okay. So the letters SC5 stand for subtle energy, 5th model or 5th generation. The SC5 is the 5th model of a digital device that allows you to measure and balance subtle energy fields. You might think of it as a computer that you can use to detect whether or not something is emitting a light field and then send out information to help restore the balance of these subtle fields. What does it mean? It just helps you to balance. That's fundamentally is what it does. It helps you to balance. When there is a balance, everything works in a great flow, because everything on planet Earth or in the universe or in our very body is in a movement. It's not subtle. But if there is an imbalance, the movement is restricted. When there's a movement is restricted, there is a condition of disease. And then we are finding solutions elsewhere. Now if you balance your body, so for a moment I'm just going to take your time, just sit quietly, and put your head down, lift your head, put it as much as you can at the back. Bring it back. Good. How you feel? Did it hurt when you went down? No? Good. Some of you might have felt. No? You were good. You didn't bend. You bent. Now you bent at the back and you brought it back. Now how does it feel? Good. Little lighter, right? what we did is a balance. Now you've been sitting and watching for more than about 2.5 hours. Okay, now your focus is there. Your body posture is different. Completely working off balance. All that we did is bring it to balance. So if you bring something to a balance, it's just done like that because the energy begins to flow and you feel lighter. Okay, this instrument does as simple thing as that, but it can create miracles. If you want to call them miracles, we call them technology. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little brief. It from 1864 onwards, it's been some people redefined it and redefined it and redefined it. Now we have got in a more better condition, like Dr. Don Paris, who's a German, and he brought out this machine. Okay, so the electromagnetic radiation or the radio waves through the field which we call intrinsic data field, that is IDFS you can call it, that is already there, that we are going to connect with those information and bring it. How do we bring it? How can I bring everything at the same time? Because everything is random, right? Then if I wanted an information of my particular client, I take his photograph or the hair sample. Now you may wonder, what's a hair sample to do? But hair sample also got your information and blueprint, right? So we bring in that and the photograph. The photograph, when you capture a photograph, how many of you keep taking photograph and you reject it? This is not good. Selfies. It's not good. I'm not in a great mood. I want the other one, another one. Because the information that who you are at that moment in time is captured in the photograph. If you know our old people in our families, they wouldn't supply their photograph to anybody. They'll say jadoo mantar kuch kar dega, because there is an information, they understood it. There is an information in every photograph of yours in that moment in time. With that photograph we can tell all about you. As much as Abraham, with one drop of blood he can tell you which religion that you follow and where you came from and everything. That's very real. It's not a Star Trek movie. It's as real. But because we don't understand that subject, it's Greek and Latin for us. Okay? I'm just throwing up this so that your mind is set to understand. So, here is another technology, again a very deep down technology. There are some of them are experts in the waveforms and things like that. I can just touch upon a little bit. It is not the magnetic alone, it is also the scalar energy. We also loosely call it Tesla waves because he founded them, as well Maxwellian waves. And through this is a mechanism, when they cross each other, they create a 0-point energy. Now in our country, interestingly, is very few scientists who are working on 0 point, because 0 point holds all the power you could. With one cell in the 0 point, you can create the power you need or a generator you need for your whole house. That's the power. But this is as old the technology, but it's still not given to the world. But this scalar energy is something, a standing wave resulting in what they call a scalar bulb between them, a bubble, and that creates a whole healing process. So if you want, you can Google scalar energy Tesla, or you can Google Don Paris or the SC5 Radionics. There's a lot of papers published and it is given. So for me, this machine is for me a ticket to quantum energy work. Otherwise, earlier, I used to always do DNA reprogramming, but quietly because we can't talk about it. It's much earlier, 1991 onwards. Or I used to do aura chakra reading, the energy body of you, and we capture it in a camera, biosensor, and we read it. But this particular machine gave me a lot of understanding and doing, because what we want in a technology, usable, producible result. We're not going to reinvent this entire technology. Just like our mobile phone. Do we go and ask Bill Gates, how did you make that? Give me the technology. We only love to use them the way we want to use them. All the features also we don't use them. Similarly for me, I use this machine because I loved what he presented on Paris in one of the conferences. I said I wanted it yesterday. Then I bought this. Those days I had only this machine and of course low-level laser. With the help of this, we have done many cases. Like there were 2 clients Do I have the time? No, it's 9 o'clock. I'll just run through and I'm going to discuss only 2 or 3 clients. Myocardial failure of a 63-year-old as well the myocardial failure of a 33-year-old. Both came at the same time. And the girl, the unmarried girl, 33-year-old, was given before 2 years a suggestion that you have to transplant your heart because your heart is not functioning to the extent it is. And then in the next 2 years, she refused to go for a transplantation. She created a multiple fibroid. So she was all the time bleeding and she has to be supported by her parents to take her to the loo and bring her back all the time, bedridden. And she was brought with the help of 2 family members and brought by a pediatrician who's her maternal uncle and a gynecologist doctor. And then we began to treat her. In the next 4.5 months, she went back to the hospital. They did a test. They said, your heart is functioning fantastically well. They took a scan and they said the fibroids are also come little bit, smaller in size. And she's fine because we always take a medical report before and we do our protocols. We keep a record of it. We also take a final medical report. Then only we'll say the patient that it's completed. Similarly, the lady, 63-year-old, she came up with this. The entire family was panicking. Where do we get the heart? How will it happen? Because when you hear the subject matter, we have decided our family is going to die or my mother is going to go. He came and less than 2.5 months, this woman brought in a clean chit from a doctor, that too Narayana Rudralaya, Dr. Devi Shetty's hospital. And dementia patient of a 59-year-old female, we have worked on her with AC5 and again it is distant. Even if a patient is with me, we have to program her here and start transmitting the energies. We don't do a direct touch, feed, whatever with a patient. It is always a transmission. Loosely speaking, like the way we transmit our videos and the messages over the WhatsApp, we do that. Something like that, loosely speaking, okay? It's much more faster and much more effective. We did Parkinson disease of a 60-year-old female who was running a restaurant in Sydney, Indian restaurant, bed, wheelchair, for almost 2 years, before that 5 years deterioration. She came to us in a wheelchair. Within 6 weeks, she went back home walking, okay? And AC5. We did a lot of protocol, but we've done more on the AC5. I did a beautiful experiment with her. We have in Pyramid Valley, where I started this center, a zero gravity flotation tank, if you have ever heard. The flotation tank is something like a Dead Sea. You float. You don't sink. It's just about 6 inches to 9 inches salt water, concentrated. And I wanted to experiment with her. I said, okay, we take a HRV, heart rate variables, and then we send her. That time her brain looked very dark in color and her heart was also in a different shape. Sent her into that flotation tank with the help of her husband. Husband sat there and supported her to float. Then we were sending the transmission of SC5 to her. After about 45 minutes, she came back and dressed up, let's say in 1 hour. Straight away brought her, we did a HRV. And I could see a lot of brightness in her brain. And that's how we began to work with her. So a lot of experimentation in this, but I've been privileged. I have the clients who trust and who allow me to do experiment. All that they want is a result. Okay, and then the psoriasis is a very simple thing we do with the SC5 and the detox, the foot detox and the SC5. That's as simple as that. And if it is needed, then I may do a DNA reprogramming, otherwise no. The brainstem, in fact, is my husband's. That question I wanted to pose her, but the time was not there. He began to develop the deep vein thrombosis in 1998. Afterwards, the blood thinner he was on, then he wasn't operated. Then he was still smoking, is a great smoker. Then he had a pulmonary artery embolism. 75% of one of the artery clogged and 25% of another was clogged. He was suggested for a surgery. Before 20 years, I didn't trust any of them doing in our country. I said, no, without that we will heal him. But he continued to be on a medication and continued to smoke. When you continue to smoke and you're medicating yourself, it crosses it, it nullifies it. So then he had one stroke. First he had the whole, clots blocked here, and he had this dead hand. I have to rush him to the hospital at 5 o'clock in the morning. We have to operate, remove these beads of the clots there. He was fine. Next 2.5 years, he had a brain stroke, and then he was falling off, and I watched him, and then I kind of did it and rushed him to the doctor. He was all right. But the final was in 2016. He had the pneumonia of the lungs. Very simple. 5 days he was coughing. Then when he started throwing blood, we rushed him to the hospital as an OPD client. Then the doctor said, probably you should just get himself admitted one day. Let's see. Then one day became 22 days, because immediately after 2 hours of his admission, he went into the ICU and he went into a ventilator. During the ventilation, the blood becomes so thin, 7.3 if you understand, it carried its clots to the brain stem, and he had an infarct. He couldn't be moved to get his MRI done to give him the medication. He couldn't have been done anything. In the meanwhile, he lost his ability to even drink a drop of water or to speak. His memory was out, and his kidney started failing. He had a paralysis. This was a condition. When he's stable, the vital signs were stable, then they said, please take him home, give him all the care needed. With the help of physiotherapy, what you wanted to do, you do it. During that 22 days, I didn't have any gadget. If you know, we cannot take our gadget, however smart we are, inside ICU. So therefore, I did my kind of work, the DNA work. Then the transmission of SC5 was happening twice daily. Okay, all the parameters we have taken, from the blood to the lungs, the brainstem pons, because I could understand brainstem pons. Then I said the doctor, start the medication, and the next 22 days he was at home in a stretcher. I brought him. Then the next 2 weeks was completely rejuvenating his lungs. SC5, low level laser therapy, and my own simplest therapy that I used it with the steaming and the with eucalyptus. I will share that with you anytime if you want. And with that, we rejuvenated a lung. We kept the timer. 2 minutes is off the oxygen. 5 minutes is off. Half an hour, 1 hour. Next 2 weeks, I took him walking to the hospital. And the fourth is now they tell me, what did you do? I was anyway talking, but they never heard. But now seeing him, they say, can I learn? That's when we are looking at what could we do in an education sector. But then that is a classic case. Seeing this, seeing him, most of my friends began to really ask for help. So my center works on referrals mostly. And then right now I'm dealing with quite few cases, but I can talk about this dementia, heart and paralysis. He is from a village in Coimbatore. He already was a dementia, but he also had his heart failing. He had a cyst. His wife also had a kidney cyst. The question for his son, who lives in Bangalore, is, should I go the regular allopathy route? I don't want to lose my parents, and I wanted you to treat. So he brought them, and we put them back in a normal mode, and they've gone back to the village. Interesting factor of this male member is that I was doing a work on him when he was rushed in a hurry from Coimbatore driving to Bangalore. It's quite a distance. But then I'm supposed to maintain him. SC5 was sent to him, and I started doing my work. When he was admitted, then the treatment was over. Before the discharge, I went to him, and he said, Amma, thank you for doing what you did. Trust me, he has never met me before. And he has told his son said, Appa told there was somebody who came to the OT and helped me to revive. She said, get up. And I got up. I mean it, it's not a fiction. I was very overwhelmed. I said thank you, because I don't want to get carried away with this kind of a talk every patient say, but this is real. Even you can transmit yourself anywhere you want, but you got to understand the way it is. You can impact anybody inside of this globe anyway with your own energies, okay? That is one of the cases. Another cases I would like to speak about is juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. This girl is a 13-year-old girl. She lost her father in cancer 1 year before, but she came limping, fragile, and only child in the family. And grandmother came, mother came, and they said, do something, make her all right. Yes, her hemoglobin was going down so much, And then she said, she came to me and we did SC5 and we did a detox and we started. In 10 days, she started going back to the school. And normal, and anybody asks her, she'll say, where did you get treated? She says, in a temple. Her hemoglobin also got improved. So I'm going to stop at this because of the paucity of time, but I would like to leave it to the organizers if you want to open up. All that I want to say is this. This is just the beginning, a tip of an iceberg, what I explained to you. One of the technology, not even in detail. But I want you to get back and learn. If you're triggered enough, get on to learn. Get on to do your research. Keep your records, because what is lacking in our country is research-based work. We are all very good because we should be lucky. We are born in this country which has got a rich heritage of the documents given to us. All that we need is bring in a different perspective, redefine them, and you will have an application in your hands. And we could take it forward. This is my vision. This is what I invite you to do. Whenever possible, I can always tell you, we are shortly going to, because of the people's insistence, we are looking at, okay, quickly one thing I want to say. This SC5 can be done in any field, animate, non-animate, living things, non-living things. Because SC5 is all pervasive. You can work on it. You can take in, we have done one experiment, quickly I'll tell you, Toniji. We have taken homeopathic medicine. You know, we all take medicines, right? And homeopathic medicine that we have put it on, we extracted the molecule or whatever the content of that molecules of the medicine, and we started transmitting that only those information to this person from Bangalore to Calcutta, time to time. And she had the same result as she should have popped up the pills. Because this particular machine has got a copying facility, reading the molecules of any product and copying facility. And I can loosely say it, I can take a Ganga water which is very special in its structure of molecules, and you can copy it in any water. That's the facility it has got. Or you can digitally manure your garden. I have done some experiment. My partner, he has done some experiment. Digitally manuring your garden, your farmland. There are people in Coorg, coffee growers, who are only bought SC5 just to work with his coffee estate. You know, he started doing. I've done termite control. We can enrich your bore wells, because everything ultimately stems down to information frequency. With information we can alter, with information we can bring in life, with information we can kill, we can do anything. But information is all about, and we are in information technology, thanks to these people who have given us this and at our fingertips, and a little bit money, little bit training, and we have got it, okay? With this, I would only invite you to come and see me sometimes. Before I close, I'll give you my address and the email. I just want to leave you with this thought. This is very, very profound thought. Tetrad wrote, an atom that emits light from a star 100 light years away knew then 100 years ago that it would enter my eye today, before I was even born. Think it over. And every charged particle is part of the universe, and the universe is part of each charged particle. So we have said we are star beings in the human form. What if doctors of all fields are equipped with this technology? With this, I close, and here is my 3 levels. You can work with me, you can do our workshops, you can come over for outbound programs and rejuvenate. You can ask for me the technology, you can Google me there in our webpage, or if you want me to support you for any of your clients whom you cannot handle, you can discuss the case. We could send an SC5 energy transmission. We could do that too. Okay, there's also a server. I failed to bring that. Anybody can get onto that server. I will send it to Tony G so it can be sent to everybody. If you have got cold, cough also, you can just ask for cold. I have and this and pay the $10 or something, and you can get SC5, because I've got more than 20 servers are already linked to that. So you can consider this as your server for your perfect health. Okay, thank you very much. I'm really thrilled, and I've been known to Tony Ji for a while. I'm very, very happy that I could give you a little bit of what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Time for only couple of questions.